So, welcome back to the WGL EU. We are just waiting on the final players to get themselves ready for the final game of the day. And both me and Ollie believe this is the highlight game. I think there's only two ways about it. WASD Gaming against Utopia. Now, WASD Gaming been on a bit of a hot streak recently, I think we could put it that way. They've certainly started to climb the rankings, start to push the top 2, top 3 as well. Looking to see what they can really achieve here. And what do you make of Utopia at the moment?
Utopia are pretty strong. I've been really impressed with Utopia over the last season. Basically, they've been
come out of nowhere.
I mean, they've been that team, that new team that has shown us how it's done straight away straight away from day one, where they beat Drooling Leprechauns, like Utopia 5-0. Everyone's like, "Whoa, who are these new kids on the block?"
Guys?
They are really, really good, and it's going to put WSD Gaming to the test. I mean, clearly WSD Gaming are. Have had like more surprising results, beating School Bus, for instance, but they also lost 5-0 against GG Well Played last time, so I think Utopia has a good chance. I think this is going to be a really close game and more about who actually is better today as opposed to previous results.
And if you didn't know, guys, at home they are tied on points, 17-17, third and fourth at the moment. I believe WSD Gaming picked up one more overall victory. However, within the points, I think Utopia may have just got a couple more. I don't know how it worked out eventually.
For instance, they've WSD Gaming, they won a more more 3-0, more 5-0's got them three points, or like Utopia last match day they lost 5-4 to School Bus. So you can see the 2 points
how
instead
they've
of
worked
the 3
themselves
points.
up, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a close game. Guys at home, if you don't know about these two, go get your background information on them. They are absolutely phenomenal. Catch up maybe on the YouTube VODs, look them up on Twitter, get involved, because these two are going to be going head-to-head. And this may not equate to someone getting secured in the finals, because they're pretty much already in the top 6. I don't think they'll drop. I think it'll probably get them feeling safer. They can be caught. But the real danger zones between School Bus and Wooster. So they're the ones you need to watch for who gets in. And obviously TCM and Kazna are just below. But yeah, these two, I think it's just to see who's playing better at the moment. You know what I mean? I think it's not so much who's going to be the one to win the offline event, who's going to come through in the semi-finals, who's going to make the big upset. It's just who's playing better on the day. Who's going to hold maybe some strategies back? Who's going to give it all? Because bearing in mind, we are getting close towards those offline finals. Or at least, the end of the season, should I say. And with that in mind, teams won't want to give away everything. If they've come up with something brand new, they've tested it, it seems viable, you don't want to give everything away to opponents who are within the top 6.
Exactly. 754 has been about those surprising tactics, those gambles, those kind of putting it all on the line and seeing if it works. So I'm 100% behind you on that one. The teams don't want to be giving stuff away at match day 10. Match day 11, that's all the match days. We have 11 match days, and they're pretty much at the end of it. The finals are not very far away. So between here and then, they certainly have to count their cards and be careful. So I'm 100% behind you on that one. I think this one's going to come down to, for that reason, just individual player skill and just general firefighting abilities in those team fights. So I'm 100% about that at this point in time, and I think tank lineups are going to be pretty important. It's going to go back to basics in this matchup.
See, I wouldn't be too surprised to see their very standard strategy. So, how we do this attack. And they want to refine it. There is no better practice than an official. That is your the very best practice you'll ever get. However, I don't think it'll be pushing the boundaries. They may try a new element. They may, try something out that they've tried before, but it didn't work. Have they adjusted it through training? That's what you want to look out for here between these two. Very big players, very big teams. Once again, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get involved. And obviously, if you guys at home, Melly, if they wanted to get those votes through to us, or just their opinions on the two teams, where's the best place that people can go?
Well, the best places, of course, are our social media platforms over at Facebook and Twitter. It's always /WAS. What?
WASD Gaming. That's
I'm sorry,
where you
that
go.
cough just completely threw me out.
To be fair,
I'm so
that's
sorry.
WSD Gaming's Twitter. It's at WSD_WOT.
See,
absolutely.
That's confusing as hell.
It is.
WASD. What are the other ones? GG Well Played. We have too many kind of acronyms, isn't it?
I find
too many.
acronyms are confusing.
There's too many, considering we're WGLEU.
DTQ.
DTQ. Oh. Do. Heard.
The thing is that Drooling Leprechauns is such a long name, we actually need to use it as an acronym, or it just doesn't fit.
So
That's
that
true.
makes sense. That makes sense.
As
But
a
the
caster, it
others-
must be horrible to get out that team name in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not even trying.
Someone should call
Huge
their
respect.
team what is it? super anti-establishmentarianisms. Just have that as a team name, just to troll us. Someone's going to do that now.
You're an idiot. Why did you say that?
Just ignore that.
Why
I
did you
didn't
say that?
Kelly's
You're
going to
such
cut
an
that out
idiot.
of the VOD right now.
Oh, Kelly's going to start the VOD right there. Kelly's a smart one. She's
Yeah.
like, just wait for
She's
them
related
to
to
start.
Matt, so I mean, they clearly got some.
She's
sort of-
related.
She's got-
Which is our producer, but
Oh,
everyone that's
damn.
not.
related.
I didn't know
might
they
not
were
be
from
the
the
right word.
South. Hold on.
I don't know how
know
it
they were
works.
from the
I
South.
don't know
I
how
know
it
they're
works in
American.
America.
Anyway, Melly, away from this topic. The West Country's fairly similar. Melly, take us through it.
Kelly,
Ooh-ah.
Maddie, we love you both, and you're awesome, and definitely not related. That's what Ollie was going to say. Yes, facebook.com/WGLEU. This time it's correct. I'm proud of myself. And of course, over at Twitter, it's basically the same, and on YouTube, and on Twitch, and everywhere. So you can find us easy to make our jobs easier, because, well, we have already trouble saying the easiest words. So, yes. The vote is already up, and we also have a standing. It's 70% for WASD Gaming.
And speaking of WASD Gaming, we are live into this one right now, so let's turn our attention towards it, as they will be starting in the north on the attack, and in the south in blue, it's Utopia on the defense. And quickly highlight the tanks we're seeing here. Is there anything out of the blue, or is this pretty normal?
I think you got spot on when you said these teams are going to go back to basics and going to go to the pretty standard lineups. Combination of AMX 1390s, 251s, and Bulldogs. Potomac getting spotted pretty early on, but you can see how much support Evil Panda Squad has in the south. And since day one of the league, this is what Evil Panda Squad's tactics been. Going towards the right side, on the defensive side of Muravanka, trying to keep the other team at base so they can't pressure in the cap, they can't get positions. And then once they see the other team is rotating around, heading around back to the kind of H3 area, not any other place. But Potomaco...
Oh, what? How did he get caught out so badly?
Because he just decided to run away, and that's just
Brain
not
of
going to work.
potato did not happen to
No.
work today. Not great. But still. That's a massive loss to begin with, considering Potomaco has been arguably some of our MVP, has the MVP criteria alongside his play quite often. That certainly wasn't it. So no MVP for you today, Potomaco, based off this game. But still, good start coming out for WSD Gaming. But
Gifted.
yeah, it literally
I think.
was. It was on a plate like this, just a potato roasted up. But still, everyone else heading down towards the south. WSD Gaming just need to keep the advantage now.
Yeah, Utopia doing what we'd expect, going back to the standard positions, and Evil Panel Squad, WSD Gaming are straight away ready to react with a little push from the south themselves. I do get confused with the names. As you can see Papa to the right, so he's going to be straight away spotted, and I think also D-kills or die, but also get that initial spotter out of this game.
Yeah, that was a nice little pick up there on the run. Papa does go down. Daki might just make it away. I think he has. How is
Lucky.
he dodging these shells? He's a slippery little
Ninja.
sucker. And he does make it away completely unscathed. That is insane. Whether it be luck or skill, I don't know. I think there's a little
luck.
bit of...
We'll go with luck.
I think that was lucky, Daki.
Can't boost his ego any more
Exactly.
than it already is.
Generally, I would try and say, that was, skill. I'll try and pretend, this guy is the best mover in the world. But Daki, I think you got a little lucky, buddy.
Have you ever seen D-kills? He can't move, let's be honest.
Oh, Daki, you're mean. You're a meanie.
He knows it.
I bet he does now. Yeah, I'll let him know that. By the way, guys in chat, if he's in chat, he often is. Let him know Ollie was mean. Anyway, 19 seconds on the cap, and make sure you quote it. Let's see if Utopia can stop this one from happening. McMoney, one of those talented men coming into this. Can he live up to that reputation? Agorni stopping him on this 2v1. Surely not going to happen here for McMoney. Going to be locked down. Honor picks it up. The cap was stopped. But look at the kills they've got for it now. WSD Gaming barely taking a shell in this, and Utopia down to 4.
Yeah, this is classic WSD Gaming. They've taken the middle area. They've seen Utopia on the flank straight away, and they've basically just pushed onto them, catching them as they do try and reset the cap. So just positional advantage straight away for WSD Gaming. This is a team that pretty much had a good run for their money against, I believe, School Bus on this map. But Mucka now caught out in the middle. He's going to fall. He's going to find Kilzer at least. But Novex comes off reload, finds Mucka, team captain for Utopia. And, well, only Bishu and Shellshock left pretty much up against the entirety of WSD Gaming.
Yeah, Bishu's not got much luck here, and this is proving why WSD Gaming are really so good at this. There was one mistake at the start, Polomako being caught out. Yes, against lesser opponents, that may not have been such a big deal. The base is also being captured. Shellshocked is the last one alive. But back to the point, one mistake made by Utopia, a big one at that. A big one from Polomako, an individual player mistake. But you can see the difference between a good team and a great team here. WSD Gaming have punished that one mistake drastically. They've only just lost Daki. Just. And I mean, he was on a bit of a miracle run throughout the entire game somehow. But still, WSD Gaming maintain the numbers, punish everyone around them. And Shellshocked is doing, a stellar job of what he can. Honor takes him down. 1.7k here. He can be proud of that. But still, WSD Gaming pick up the win. And they made it look very good there.
One mistake.
Very good.
One mistake. That's all it takes for a team like WSD Gaming to win these kind of matches. Potomako, I think he should have held his ground. I think he's thinking, okay, so maybe only the Bulldogs are in the south, and WSD Gaming is actually coming from the north, so he thought he could get out of there, but he simply couldn't. But I guess he was left with no choice, because eventually WSD Gaming would have been in the position to take him down. So it was just full stop bad positioning. Usually you see the team kind of put the 59-16 up into a bush aggressively, just to spot what's coming on the rotate from the attacking team. So it will be WSD Gaming to put themselves on the scoreboard first with a good 1-0, pretty simple stuff. Got themselves a big gifted 2-5-1, as you can see. The Killzor versus Papa was one of my highlights for this game.
Yeah, and just watch the kills are on the way out as well. The supporting fire, Daki took one shell, I think, then either from Papa or someone else.
And I don't. From the 2-5-1.
It might be, yeah. It was probably the 2-5-1. I don't think anyone else hit anything. Literally, he made. I don't know.
He's
I don't
just
know how.
driving a straight
line. I don't know how.
Well.
That's the smart plays, man. It's the smart plays. It's when you play so stupid that people don't expect it, right? There used to be a phrase that I can't repeat on air. But if you play like an idiot, you win like an idiot, because no one expects you to do it, because everyone expects you to play less like an idiot. So just driving down like, no one expects it, because they'll be aiming at you, hopefully not playing like that.
I know what you mean. It's exactly what the Killzor did. Shame if England did that in the football team, maybe we would actually win some games. But
maybe.
Too clever for anything like that. But the Killzor, good job by him. He's going to be switching to a T-32 for a second round attack, so WSD Gaming probably have two good tactics on this one. I think despite the fact that they were gifted that 2-5-1, they still executed the plan they wanted to execute, as in pushing out the cat once they see the opportunity and kind of catching the other team by surprise and in the middle of no man's land, and just overmatching with those 1390s. Still Utopia on the defense. They've got 3 T69s, 2 2-5-1s, an AMX 1390 and a 59-16. And this is, of course, Utopia's map, actually. So I'm not sure exactly why, because WSD Gaming has been pretty strong. I mean, we all remember that game against Swooson. If you don't, you should check it out on our YouTube channel, which is, of course, /WGL. WGLU still makes sense, but it just kind of put into one word.
Wobbly gel.
Wobbly gel.
Wobbly gel.
Hashtag wobbly gel.
Oh, you're amazing.
It's quality stuff. Jelly. You jelly?
How are you going so off topic so early on? Like when it's like, it's gone on for like 5 hours, we're still on Prokhorovka, it's been 20 draws, that we're literally describing what the possibilities of each bush are on the map. Then I kind of expect wobbly gel. But literally in map number 1.
I continue to surprise.
You do. You always raise the bar. Whether it be with production or, their relatives. I don't know. Alrighty, so it is time to get ready for this one.
The abuse.
WGL, it's starting
Makes
off
sense. Like you've got all the letters in there. It just kind of combined.
Oh,
it's fine, guys.
God.
Just go with it. It's good.
I want to say so much and get me fired. Anyway, it's time to get into game, as I believe the teams are ready, and I can't handle this anymore. I'm not well, if you haven't noticed, by the way, guys. So if everyone else gets ill on this desk, then it's my fault. I'm reinfecting. It's like, come this way, and I'm going to send it back that way. Melly started to cough now.
It's living in a hospital right now. It's a mental asylum and it's a hospital. Like, someone's always ill. Or someone's always coughing. What is wrong with you guys? Just
says you! You were sniffling away last week.
Have your Lemsip or something.
Oh, shut
have your
up.
collard greens, because seriously.
What are they? What even are they?
Beans?
Why do you call it beans? I don't trust the words you say anymore. It's probably mispronouncing it. Oh, God. forgot you're American. All right,
Jesus.
into the game we go, guys and girls. Let's stay on
Plague or
track.
something.
People like plague kicking in. I went back to London once and I've come back with it. All right, so 1-0 WSD Gaming. Battle number 2. We are still here on Moravanka. Up in the north on the attack, it's going to be WSD Gaming. In the south on defense, it's Utopia. But I quite like this slight aggression coming out from Utopia, putting the T69s just in the right position to utilize the hill. But Killer Pit almost has an angle there.
He does. He's just trying to make some shells on the side of Potomaco and Bishu. It's a pixel shot, and he hasn't been spotted, so he might eventually hit it. But as hard as Potomaco does reverse because he got hit twice, and Nervax also receives one, but he's only in a Bulldog, so no big deal. So both teams kind of going back to the status quo. WSD Gaming playing a very normal tactic. They got the Bulldog in the south. It would be a little bit tricky to take down Papa in that 59-16 because of the kind of support. But I think the best bet from WSD Gaming would be just to keep Utopia at bay. With the 3 T69s, won't be particularly good snipers. But I guess with a 251 and the Bulldog towards the left, that might be where WSD Gaming will start to head. But you can see immediately Utopia as responding. They got the MX-3090 there, they got the 251, and Killer Pit does get punished immediately with the obvious play, 674 damage onto his 251.
Yeah, Killer Pit getting punished there. Maybe pushing too far, I don't know. You could say he might have maybe edged forward, but we've seen players push far beyond this point and still get away with it. But
he's just going to destroy those destructible buildings, and this is game over for Killer Pit.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And Killer Pit just trying to wait out the storm, but yeah, exactly. It was a matter of time, but he does have backup arriving. But will this be like our first game, the overextension against the overcommitment? Where's he going to go? Will could get caught out here, and actually Killer Pit on a Nervax, Dead Zone, Ogwani all piling in against Wilk, and he does get caught out.
Great play there from WSD Gaming, coming in support of their player 251 Killer Pit. So leave no man behind is WSD Gaming's theme for today, and they're pushing Utopia back. Utopia having to rotate around the hill, try and get hull down, and they have got a decent position, but WSD Gaming have done the switcheroo. They've got the cap and they've got themselves into a good winning position as Fluky is trying to fluke his way out of this situation.
Let's see if he can pull off the kills or the drive in a straight line and hope for the best. A little bit of a coastal visit, but look at the damage going down up towards the north. A little bit more than Fluky on the run. Papa, 4 more shells to make, makes 1 out of them. Second bounce. One last one goes, no connection. Fluky makes it away, but up in the center, we've got Bishu surrounded. Agoni and Honor going to make a move towards Muka. They waited on Bishu to have 1 shell. He's going to make it, doesn't get the connection, and now 3v1. Muka's going to go down. There's nothing he can do. Nervax now looking deadly, and the dead zone does end up finding another, and this is just going terribly wrong. Wilk, Bishu, and Muka all down and out for Utopia. It looks like WSD Gaming have found that once again, that potency, once they start roaming as a team, and it wasn't Potomaco's mistake this time. They've deserved this one, WSD Gaming, if they can close it out.
They seem to have taken the lessons they learned from their game against GG Well Played and said, we're never going to lose again like we did there, and they've done fantastically well against Utopia, at least in the first 2 rounds as they dispatch of McMoney, Papa, shell-shocked, and Potomaco left. Still some damage in the Utopia lineup, but with 2 extra tanks, now 3 extra tanks for WSD Gaming, it's very, very hard for them to actually close this game out. Dead Zone does find himself in a little bit of a hard place as he's got 2 tanks either side, but doesn't matter. Potomaco falls.
Papa follows suit, and WSD Gaming picking up another battle here, 2-0 now. And they're starting to make this one look a little bit too easy.
Yeah, that was, considering Utopia and School Bus went 4-5, I mean, completely different maps. This is looking like WSD Gaming are a little bit outclassing Utopia, despite the fact that Utopia got that early advantage by almost killing Killer Pit. Like, they should have destroyed the house right away and taken out Killer Pit, and then it wouldn't have been a big deal that Wicked went down in that T69, but they didn't. They were slow. They were really sluggish, and that allowed WSD Gaming that kind of 30 seconds to a minute window to rotate the tanks onto the one line and push down, take down Wicked, and then push Utopia out of their initial kind of bush areas. And then once they had that, they could go in towards the hill, maybe even start the cap if they want it, get the higher ground, and basically shun Utopia out of their camping castle.
Camping castle? Another weird... Oh, you're losing it a little early tonight, aren't you?
What's wrong with camping castle?
I don't know.
I was going for the whole like siege
kind
thing.
of castle camps?
Siege thing, you know, where you have a team sitting outside the castle sieging.
So
the
like
other team.
this.
Exactly. There you got the camping castle up the right side. Novak's Honor.
So where's the
Dead Zone
historical
Agorni.
outlet?
That
Is that it right there? The little
drawbridge is right there.
I
This is
see,
the historical
I see.
drawbridge.
Yep.
Fluky's the historical whippersnapper as he runs away. And now you'll see the historical win from WASD Gaming as they push on to Utopia.
Yeah, a real outlet for their creativity, WSD Gaming finding on this one. So nicely done overall to them, picking up the 2-0 lead. Second half, though, can we expect the maybe 4-0? I don't know. I still feel that Utopia really haven't got into this game yet. Considering they're a team who are tied on points, one team seems significantly better than the other. Now, it's funny because we often try and work out who's better than this team. Are they, one ahead of the other because they beat this team and this team beat this team? But then you put them together, maybe their styles just clash or they don't work, or one team's style is so much better than the others. Are we seeing that here? Because there shouldn't be this much of a disparity between Team A and B, really.
Sure. There isn't much of a disparity. But the thing is, WSD Gaming is dictating the pace of the game. 100%. They're on the attack. They're saying, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. And that's what WSD Gaming does so well. They have a little bit of spark to them, a little bit of life to them. And maybe it's down to the fact as well that Utopia thinks that they've already qualified for the finals. And they're not really in this game 100% spirit and soul. So I'm not sure exactly. But as you said, the best practice is in these live games and in the match games. So I think it's always a good idea to play 100%. And of course, now the teams do the switcheroo. Utopia on the attack, WSD Gaming on the defense. We might see a different Utopia.
I'm hoping we do, because Utopia, I've talked them up now. They're meant to be the highlight of the day. You can't go and get 5-0'd. But let's see what they can do now. I think we might see a slightly more Compos Mentis team coming into this. Now they're on the attacking side.
What?
They get to...
Compos Mentis?
Yeah.
Don't know what that is. Is Latin?
I don't know. I just know it as a phrase.
What is it? Is that a Jason phrase?
No, it's actually real.
What's it mean?
Just look it up. Go on. Well, you can look on your screen. You can look it up.
Compos
I'll cast the game. I'll
I'm
do my
impressed
job.
by that.
All right. So, WSD Gaming this time will be in the south on the defense, and in the north it'll be Utopia on the attack. This is what we want to see. Utopia finally being able to control the pace, be able to dictate what they really want to do. But look at WSD Gaming. They're not going to allow it. They're going to go straight on the aggression.
Amazing stuff from WSD Gaming. This might just work. Muka, the first on the chopping board.
Is it another Polomako to fall here? Can he be caught out so early on? He's trying to run. He's trying to hide, but he's been tracked and held in towards village there. Nowhere to run, really. Dead Zone will find him in the end. And now 2 kills for free. Bit of damage towards Nervax, though. He might have just got caught out. But
yeah,
that is a huge
start. That is a huge 2 tier 8 tank advantage. McMoney comes back, takes down Nervax because he is in the middle of no man's land. Yes, WSD Gaming have clearly lost a good position and clearly given Utopia the best positions, but they've kind of mitigated that by taking 2 whole tier 8 tanks down. But the rest of them, for Utopia, on 100% HP, and I have to say it, Utopia can win this game still because they managed to take down Nervax and because WSD Gaming lost good positions by going all in.
So we are going to see the kind of rotation here. WSD Gaming taking quite a long route. The Bulldogs heading up to the north, are they just making sure there's no one waiting up there, there's nothing else going on, and they're just trying to time it right? Or why are they taking so long there?
Yeah, I think they're just making sure that they don't leave anything behind which could possibly bite them in the backside later on. The cap's now on the way. That's the clear move. I hope WSD Gaming has had a backup plan, because at the moment Utopia are dictating the pace of this game. And at the moment, well, WSD Gaming on the right side trying to go on the one line, and they might struggle against, for instance, Wicked, and I think they're just going to go all in against this T32. But with the support Utopia has in the back, might be a little bit difficult. Yeah,
Utopia certainly not out of it just yet. Utopia still have the HP advantage, bearing in mind they do obviously have those big hefty tanks still in the game. So let's see if WSD Gaming can actually get the HP advantage as well. Daki and Fluky there letting off fire. Wilk and Bishu mostly on the receiving end then. With 4 minutes left, I love the aggression from WSD Gaming, but it will allow play like this. Shellshocked finds a bit of a weakness, which is Daki pushing a little too far. Shellshocked will find him, but will he get 2 for this? It's Fluky up against Shellshocked. He needs a good shot here, 1v1. Who's going to call for reload first? And it will be Fluky to have the shell ready to be delivered, but look at the fold coming in towards the center. Wilk up against the Dead Zone and Agorni, joined by Bishu, I believe. But everyone's low. Utopia's down to 4. I believe 4 standing for WSD Gaming. Make it 3, make it 2. Suddenly 2 kills back to back, avenged by 1. Look, Money and Wilk have to do it all again.
Ooh, the massive damage roll there from the T-32. 390 is clearly using the 105mm, but McMoney's coming into the charge.
But Money needs to bail his teammate out here. Will does go down, but Money has 3 shots to make. Makes it, gets 1, that's Kill a Bit down, but now 2 more to find. 3 minutes to do it, but Money goes for the reload now. But will the dead zone crest the hill, take the shot and take him down? Ooh. Just about avoids it. Fluky looking for the same. Not going to have the angle to make, though. The dead zone hot on his heels. But Money's going to have to wait a little bit of time to have that shell available, though.
1,440 is the burst from that F3. So he can potentially take down Fluky in the dead zone, but the dead zone's not letting him get away. He's keeping in his sights. That's the fantastic thing about the 251. It can keep up with these French autoloaders.
And Money might be in trouble now. I think he knew that he can't run, he can't hide, and a Killzor surely gonna be the one, but Money has the shell. He's still trying it, not enough. The dead zone comes through, and WSD Gaming 3-0 now, starting to run away with this game. But that was closer. Let's take it from the start there, because that was a huge beginning for them.
That's what I said. This game would come down to those firefights, from those individual abilities, for those quick thinking decisions, and that's exactly what the dead zone, for instance, in that 251 did. I mean, such a close game. But that play by Shellshocked in that AMX 3090 going up against those 2 Bulldogs,
he brought it back.
Was like a very interesting play. He took down the Killzor first. He almost took down that other
Fluky
M41 and that M4, Fluky in the M41. If he didn't manage to do that, it would have probably been the game for Utopia. But the thing is, like, that AMX 3090's got 2.9 seconds between each shot, and the Bulldogs have got about 2 seconds between each shot. So there's that 0.5, 0.9 of a second difference that gives the Bulldog the edge, and it's such a big edge going up against that tier 8 French autoloader. And that's like the things you have to know in this game to hold your nerve and to make those shells. And that kind of separates these guys from the rest of the bunch, and what gives them really the wins in this situation. So great work by the dead zone there. Has to be the MVP for this round. Almost 1.8k damage and 4 frags to his name. And it was all about those firefights, and I have to say it was very impressive that the 2 T-32s got dispatched so easily by WSD Gaming. You know, they went for the attacks, they went in, they went out again, they kept on moving, kept on revolving, making sure that the T-32s couldn't do sustained damage against them.
Well, looking back at it, you can see that, all in all, Daki there, first one to take a shell. This was that second or 2 difference, as you said, in between the shells being available, and you can see Fluky there now. Just has it up for this final shot and gets it.
He even gets Amarak, which kind of resets the reload a little bit. So it could have even
been either way almost then.
I mean, that's the problem. It's such a lightly armored tank, the Bulldog, that the shells go in the tank and they actually bounce around. Obviously you can't see it, but like they bounce around so they can hit like the Amarak, and they can go on to hit the engine. So one shell can do a hell of a lot. And make you very, very ineffective as a tank. It can even kill all your crew, which makes the tank completely useless and it won't drive. So, yeah, 3-0 now for WSD Gaming.
Reckon it's going to be 4?
I'm not sure. I think Utopia got very close. I think this might be 3-1.
See, in the actual games, it's still quite close. That came down to a 1v1 at the end. You know, that is how close it's getting. It's not like it's, you know, a completely clean sweep. It is close games between these two. However, it is WSD Gaming closing them significantly better than Utopia. Utopia seemed to keep up on par, but then they're never quite in control. Even on the attacking side, we saw that WSD Gaming took the initiative. They went aggressive. They picked it up and ran with it. However, I do believe it is almost game time, guys. It's going to be 4-0. That sort of scoreline can certainly rustle some feathers here, and I'd be a little bit worried if it's the case for Utopia. Hopefully it's not a slippery slope, but still. Let's look at those lineups coming into this. Obviously, in the north, it's Utopia. In the south, it's WSD Gaming. And what do we make of these two lineups?
Well, in classic WSD Gaming fashion, when they defend, they use the 3 T69s. I think they were, well, at least the first team in the Wargaming League Europe to pick up those 3 autoloading tier 8 medium tanks from the American line. And it's worked quite well. As long as Nervax, Fluky, and the Dead Zone can hit those shells, it's all good. And they clearly have some of their most talented players on them. I mean, Nervax has been maturing as a player for a long time now. He's very, very young, but he's been getting better and better through the seasons. And I have to say, he was very good at the season 4 finals in Cologne, where WSD Gaming, then known as C-Play, actually picked up 3rd with pretty much the same lineup minus Ruster. But you can see that Kazna crew are just not on the same level as WSD Gaming now, probably down to a lack of training commitment towards the league. But Wicked, Bishu, back to this game, are hull down on those T32s. This is where they want to be. WSD Gaming didn't contest that middle area, and I think this might be a good thing for Utopia. WSD Gaming has been pretty dynamic, pretty willing to go forwards. They can't do that with the 3 T69s, and now the game slowed down. Utopia prefer this game style.
Well, maybe they can pull it off. Maybe this will actually suit, as you said, a little better with Utopia. And Papa playing a bit more standard. This is the normal kind of Moravanka we've grown to know, but it's been quite aggressive throughout the last couple of play days. First couple of shells coming in. Not too much damage done.
No critical hits, no critical damage, just slow, steady gameplay. As I said, both teams resetting this kind of manic play they've had in the last 3 rounds on Moravanka to something more normal, to more slow and steady. And which one will win the race? But this is WSD Gaming completely tearing that up and pushing in.
Well, let's see if it works out. Killapit does manage to catch Papa on the way down. Killapit is low, but Honor there to support. And it always seems there's so many ready for WSD Gaming just to bail in for their friends, just to get in there and dig them out of such treacherous situations. And they do maintain the numbers. So now, Wilt taking a lot of damage there.
And Gorny in a good position. He's got double bushes, which means he can get the shots without being spotted. Did receive a little bit for his trouble, but actually kept his team at bay. But Potomako and McMoney going to try and go in and take him out.
Can they make it, though? Can they do the real job in this? Looking at it. Money heading round. You can see the T32s chasing the T69s, and round we go as Money finally comes to a halt. 3 tanks in front of him, the 2 to 3 raging on up in the north. Money not in the advantage in this position.
Honor's going to get into a good position. He's not an autoloader. He's playing the 251, so Money's going to be in big trouble. He hasn't got the damage to take him out, but Money is a fantastic player, and he's holding his own against the 2 tanks left.
Money, can you do it though? Can he pull this off? He's such a talented player. Daki has found Wilt, so one by one his teammates are falling. Money takes a shell, gives one, but he needs to maintain so much more, and Utopia down to 4 players here. It's not looking good. Muka has found a Gorny, and Money will find Honor. Bishu finds the kills, or maybe they can turn this. It's a 4v3, but they're certainly holding on by a whisker as Killapit just gets a shell available. No target side. Bishu clashing heads with the dead zone. Muka ready to support. Bishu taking too many though, and Muka gonna try and crest over. He might be able to get a shell on the backside here, and Bishu going very low though. Gonna go down surely to this shell. Nervax can deliver it, and Fluky almost ramming the dead zone then. Very close stuff here, and Muka starts to run, gets shot towards the dead zone. It's still 3v2. It's still possible, but Nervax has the high ground.
Nervax on the reload, Fluky's on the reload, and that's where Muka in that 251 with continuous damage can really start to punish WSD Gaming's choices for those T69s. Killapit is nowhere to be found. He's 1 versus 1, but he might be able to find 2.
Let's see what he can do here. Muka needs this. Can he get it? Nervax still not had a shell ready. Quite a substantial amount of damage done then, actually. But Muka needs to be careful. Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to outplay Nervax here. Surely not. No, not going to happen. And WSD Gaming do pick up battle number 4, and that is them on match point.
Unbelievable. Closer game even than before, and it did come down to a 1 versus 3. 1 versus 2 when that other 249 went down, the T69 went down. So I guess it came down to the fact that WSD Gaming decided to make that push. Despite the fact they're being on the defense, they gambled, they went in. They didn't really know what was down there, but they thought, okay, so we need to put this many tanks, and then we should just be about okay in that firefight.
Yeah, but let's also look at the score overall now, 4-0. What's the next map coming up?
Rurenberg's coming up, where, guess what, WSD Gaming will be on the defense. So it could be a 5-0 right now.
Ladies and gents, this could be a quick game. We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep you updated, obviously, but need to give the teams a second to readjust things through into the next map. But Melly, the people at home, these two are equal on points. They're in the exact same position in the overall rankings. Did anyone think it'd be a 4-0 this early on?
No, but Twitter is already going full mental about about the happenings in the game. So people, tell your friends to join us, because this could be over soon, or it's gonna be taking a while. So nobody knows. It looks very clear on paper, of course, but let's see how it goes. we saw almost everything. We also saw a draw, right? So this can happen as well. But if I look on the predictions, there are very few people actually predicting a 5-0. So it was kind of unexpected. The vote is still with 62% in favor for WASD. But yes, there's still a break. You can still vote. And well, it's not a real break, because a lot of you guys just tuned in, welcome of course, and weren't with us from the very start of the game, of the broadcast, so where we showed our awesome recap video of the last match day, and I think it's a pretty good time to check in with that video again and, well, let you take part in it.
Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU. Let's take a look at the rosters for the first game. Now, Bishu going straight in there, hoping that little bit of a bait and switch from Shellshock has done enough, and Bishu's actually made it there. Now Money coming in, he needs to finish the job, and he does. Money left out a little in the open, though. He could be in trouble here. Does, I believe, get tracked, but Bishu trying to provide cover, but scattered targets. But here comes the rest of Utopia, and they're looking to equal this one.
It's actually going quite well for Utopia. I mean, McMoney clearly made a mistake, but they have got the flank on. They have surrounded School Bus quite well, and they're really going to be able to do some pain here. Afwal will probably fall to Mako, who does get very unlucky with that roll, but the next one will surely secure that kill.
It's a suicide run from Ponomako. He should have a shell just about available. Oh, Clip misses it. Not what he wanted. Ponomako gets in there, and now around the back, the MVP from previous weeks, Ponomako, making the difference here. The T-32 too slow to react. The Bulldog not enough to bite. And now Ponomako can just rain in shells towards Nuclear. And that was just well thought out by Ponomako. This could be an error as well, bearing in mind that at the moment, Schoolbus are holding the advantage of HP. However, I believe finally someone noticed who was in front of them. It doesn't matter. Armley's found shell shocked. And I don't know what's happened to Utopia. It seems like they've just decided that this is the round they wanted to do a school bus in, and they better pull it off. If they did want to switch things up, they better make it work, because otherwise they have thrown this game so badly. And it's school bus picking it up in overtime, 5-4 overall. Next game coming up will be DRL up against TCM.
Looks like they want to deal with Jack, Yukai, Carvey are in charge of that, but Jack finds Carvey with a nice high roll there, and still Mojo, Yukai have put themselves in a little bit of an awkward situation, and this could go really bad for them right now.
Definitely could. Still Mojo goes down, Jack pushes off, and this has gone a lot closer suddenly. Message needs to find a position behind Jack, I can imagine, to try and fend these off, but time is not on their side, and now Jack, last man alive, goes down in the final second, and it will be TCM finally get back in the game. Jack does find purple shift, so already the one-man advantage for DRL.
I don't know why Eurofish just made a quick shot. There's no need for him to do that. He had all the time in the world, and it's going so well for Drooling Leprechauns that they absolutely crushed all the tanks down below.
Everyone's been spotted, and how did TCM respond?
Ooh, they got 3 tanks there, so it could actually go quite badly for them. They really need to do a lot of damage in this early stage before they all do fall. But the thing is, Drooling Leprechauns also head into the middle, so they split up their forces, and, well, at least one for DRL goes down first. TCM 5-3.
WSD Gaming up against GG Well Played. I think this is the game of the day that I've been waiting for.
They're going to push around. They're not wasting any time. First shell's going to come out of Mary, and that's the thing. The IS-3 is not the best tank for this position.
It's certainly not. Can he find anything here? We discussed this before. We didn't like it in the previous games, but now good fire comes in. Phoenix takes a pounding. You can hear the shells rattling through as the dead zone to Killzor and Honor, the 5100s, make it into the battle. Montiablo goes down, and now the 3-4 split is coming into action. It looks like WSD Gaming are getting the kills, but the damage is so close between these two. It is 1v2, but he's doing the best he can in this one. When the shell gets it, chooses Honor. He can avoid the shell from the dead zone. He has a chance here, and oh my word! He's done the 1v2. 3 kills for FC Dynamo. Looking for his fourth exchange!
What the hell?
Who got it?
They both got it. It's game over. It's a draw. It's actually a draw. It's 7:54. That rhymes, but GG Well Played are even better prepared, though. They are going to do a lot of damage and maybe even take down Killer Pit as he does head around that corner. FC Dynamo does find him, but response onto Phoenix.
It looks like GG Well Played come out swinging this time. They're not happy with the idea of a draw. They want the win, and they want it now. A Gorney around the back, but maybe a little late to the party. That M44 doing nothing.
It will be a 5-0 for GG well played.
Hopefully we kept you guys amused with the draw coming into play. I see the Twitch chat kind of exploding, going, there's no such thing as a draw. And then they're like, oh, I guess there is a thing as a draw. What is this? So yeah, thank you guys for sticking with it so long.
Okay, people, if you think, wow, I'm so sad that I missed that match stages, just head over to youtube.com/WGLEU and watch back the VODs. And I think the teams are ready, so off we go.
Indeed, the teams are ready. Hopefully no more draws. That just blew my brain, as you may have seen. You can look on my face and just say, just like...
We're just like, what's going on here? Yeah.
Words were hard at that moment. But still, we are into game. Hopefully words aren't too difficult. This time around...
Compis Mentis.
Close enough. Northeast will be WSD Gaming on the defense. In the west, on the attack, it's Utopia. And look at the difference in lineup. We're seeing quite the hefty 5100 stack from WSD Gaming.
Yeah, WSD Gaming just want to overmatch Utopia in damage and HP and everything, and immediately do get the first damaging shell onto Potomaka. Utopia has everything to play for. I mean, they pretty much qualify for the finals, but they want to be getting themselves more safe. At the moment, WSD Gaming guaranteed themselves a point, and probably the match as they only got to win one more. And the on the defensive side of Ruinberg, the slightly easier side, despite what happened earlier between DTQ and GG well played. And I think with those kind of lineups, with the 5100s, with the T54 lightweight, let's go in WSD Gaming's way just from the start.
It looks like it. But Daki again, how does he just dodge these shots? He's got a gift here. He is like Neo from the Matrix. He just shells.
Slows down life and just dodges them.
He just somehow manages it. It's very impressive. Anyway, other side, the cap is still on. Very different setup to the first game we got to watch today on Ruinberg. There was far more stress towards that maybe F5, F6 area. But now, 15 seconds. There needs to be a play coming out from WSD Gaming, or this is going to be over and done with. Daki might be that player to try and get the shot. But he's going to have to commit and actually gets tracked. 7 seconds. Keep your eye on the timer. There we go. Shell comes in. Finally delivers 12. Reset. 19. Waiting on more resets to come in. Bishu not in the cap circle. 25. Another reset comes out, and so far you can see the cap circle now being moved away from the fold, maybe beginning towards the eastern side. And Muka so low so early on. That T49 has not had a chance to get into this game.
The first time I think we've seen the T49 on this map, and it hasn't worked out too well. Muka does connect the first shell, but it's HE's and it didn't actually penetrate, so it didn't really do that much damage. Killer Pit finds the first kill of the game. That's Papa.
Certainly is, and there may be more to be found. Wilk was low, Muka is low. 3 back-to-back kills coming in, and it's just swept Utopia aside here. WSD Gaming, yes, they may be on, no, not too far away HP, but look at the numbers game here. Bishu taking a beating, down and out. Nervax claims another, and this has gone from bad to worse for Utopia. A very decisive scoreline, seeming like it's moments away, as the last man alive will be Potomako. He's up, hidden away in the east. But I think he knows it won't last long here. Every tank spotted, they know where he is. And actually, maybe tell a lie, maybe they don't. They'll find him eventually, though.
Yeah, they'll find. It's a small map. I mean,
yeah, it won't take long.
It won't take long. It's his game over. WSD Gaming just need to click that W key, and they should pretty much find Potomako. The kills was the first one too. He might die here, but he's just going to go in the ram. Of course, he's going to take more damage because. Well, actually doesn't. I mean, the forward momentum definitely worked in his favor, but does fall, but quickly avenged by the dead zone, bringing the scoreline to 5-0 for WSD Gaming.
Massive scoreline.
Did not expect that one.
No, definitely not.
That's my game of the day, and it's
I know,
5-0.
this is what we were both like, yeah, it's going to be great, it's going to be close, they're like tied on points, and then just WSD Gaming decides to spank it. Fair enough. Very well played, WSD Gaming. You look substantially better. What more can we say? That was just incredible, to be fair, by WSD Gaming, showing that they seem very prepared going into the final part of the season, closing down on a high note. No, they cannot get to the top 2, I believe. I think they're just too far away. Unless maybe GG well played lose, then I don't know. I don't think they can. I don't think.
I think it's GG well played's got some hard games. They've got to play like School Bus, so yeah. I think, I agree with you. I think it's going to be very hard.
They may be able to do it, but as you can see for now, looking at those points, if GG well played lost coming up, I don't know if they will. WSD Gaming win. Obviously, there's a lot of factors going into it. They may be able to make it into that top 2 spot, which would mean they get a place to the second day. But the thing you need to look at here is who's your top 6. So far, it's Wooster, Schoolbus, Utopia, WSD Gaming, GGL Played, and Virtus Pro. That is a very stacked top 6.
Yeah, it's incredible, and tomorrow we'll be finding out if TCM Gaming and Kazna Crew in 7th and 8th actually make it to the finals, as well as Kazna will be fighting Wooster and Schoolbus will be fighting TCM, so...
Holding their places, basically.
Basically, yeah, that's going to be a pretty crazy day tomorrow, and Virtus Pro fights Drooling Leprechauns, which I think Virtus Pro should win, and it won't be a big consequence for them. But Drooling Leprechauns could also move out that automatic relegation zone, so there's a lot to look forward to.
There certainly is. I'm very excited for it in Melee. The people at home must be loving this amount of World of Tanks in 1 week.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Twitter community loves it already. I already read tweets like, well, sleep, work, Wall of Tanks, sleep, work, Wall of Tanks, and it's amazing. People will be with us the whole week, and hopefully you will be too. But let me quickly tell you the end result of the voting, which I'm stopping right now because, well, you guys are actually heading into the last round, well, it's 65% for WASD Gaming, and well, actually very few people predicted a 5-0 ending, and I didn't either, to be honest. None of us did, I guess. But yes, that was it for today. We had 3 amazing matches. We were pretty quick today. GGL Played versus Deep Tranquility 5-1. Momentum versus Evil Panda Squad 5-2. And, well, you just witnessed it. WASD Gaming versus Utopia 5-0. And yes, if you just tuned in and thought it might catch some tank action, I'm sorry. We're done for today. But we'll be back tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. CT. Don't miss us. Follow us here to get notifications via email and pop-ups and everything. And join us for tomorrow's matches: Virtus Pro versus Drooling Leprechauns, Kazna Crew versus Team Vuza, and the headliners of tomorrow are Schoolbus versus TCM Gaming. I hope to see you back tomorrow. Well, have a good night and keep on tweeting. See you tomorrow.